soul meditation, that is Atma meditation. Source Anma Sakshatkara Prakaranam. This book is called Atma Sakshatkaram, which was preached to Lord Muruga by God Lord Shiva, who is the first cause of all things. He has now arisen as a soul in my soul and says it in English for the benefit of all Englishmen of this universe. The existing substance is formless, pervades in all things, and cannot be known by the mind in a subtle way. But Lord Shiva, the true substance, says to Lord Murugan, I will tell you another way to reach that real substance. By listening to what scriptures and knowing the wisdom indirectly, the experience of wisdom will be well developed. He who knows the supreme thing without prejudice becomes Shiva, about which wisdom I have never told anyone till now. May you hear that kind of science from me today. The universal science has been preached through the generations by gurus and disciples. Not only that, it is not known to any logician who learns the scriptures and understands vain logic. This is for the sake of liberation from the cycle of birth and death. The majestic face of Lord is omnipresent everywhere. God is naturally present, perfectly understandably in all things created by Him, and shines as Himself in all those things and has a face everywhere. God cannot be conceived as thought by the mind, who pervades all the philosophies as His form, who abides in them and is beyond them. God is transcendent substance, and He Himself is the Self Soul. He who transcends all philosophies and stands beyond them is the One who is one whose mind and name are not united with words. With such a nature, I am He who is the primary substance with a non-discriminating mind. May you ceaselessly practice Siva Dhyana, that is Siva meditation, that which is eternally fixed, imperishable, undifferentiated, imperceptible as existent, all-pervading, incorporeal, formless wisdom, that wisdom alone shines forth without its origin, without its beginning, without its comparable similitude. I am that Paraswarupam, which is self-luminous, transcending all opposing things, imperceptible to reckoning, beyond doubt, unapproachable by the mind, without sign of any kind, imperishable, omnipresent, eternally peaceful, beyond all hostile things, self-explanatory, perceptible object. There is no doubt about it. I am that Paramashiva, form of the Supreme Godhead. I am the one who is the supreme mantra of all mantras, and beyond all those mantras and beyond, I am the one who is beyond all the occupations, such as the universal creation, samharam, etc. Visible objects, invisible plants, fixed in one place, and movable things, all these are pervaded by me. I am the hero who is the leader of this world. All objects are illuminated by me. All the objects of the creation, which are made up of layers of worldly appearances, not one like the other, completely different from other, all that exists in this world are shining from my place established by me, the Supreme Shiva. As many things as are seen in this world, as many as sounds of things are heard, and all the things that appear inwardly and outwardly, centering on the body, are also pervaded by the all pervading me. Realize that all those pervaded things are I. One may think that I am not this body, but the soul, and also think that Shiva, whom he wants to attain as the Paramatma, is distinctly different. He who considers Shiva as different and worships Shiva in this way through his unconscious knowledge will not attain the form of Shiva through the power of his worship. Know that Shiva is his own and that he is not different. You uproot and throw away the petty sin of sin that feeling Lord Shiva is a stranger to me and that I am a stranger to Shiva. Always practice this abheda bhavana, that is, feeling of oneness, without ceasing that I am Shiva, the Supreme Being. That yogi who is always fixed in Sada Atma Dhyana, continuous soul meditation in any place, having adopted such a habit with a great mind, will see in all visible objects, in all the bodies of the world, that Supreme Being, Lord Parameshwara. There is no doubt about it. He who is inwardly attached to this practice of the soul meditation, which is oneness of the soul with the Lord, and Lord not always let go of it. He will be free from lust and lust for the things of the world, and will be abhorred and rid of them. Know that it is said in the famous Vedic text that for such a yogi, a good understanding of everything will develop. In all the Vedanta Shastras, I am the one who is unborn. I am the Iswaran, the Lord of living things, who is praised by all, who is formless and above three gunas, who is omnipresent and Atman. There is no doubt about it. He who is eternally ignorant of his true form is Jivan. He is the one with the creaturely virtues that can appear and disappear. Whoever knows his true nature, he is the eternal, the perfectly pure, sinless Shiva. Choose knowing that there is no doubt about it. That is why those who are wise will always analyze, debate, and discuss thoroughly well inwardly and come to a conclusion that it is the soul that is worthy to be known face to face. That soul itself is understood in two ways, with the distinctions called param and aparam, and the distinctions are called as sthulam and sukshmam, that is, physical and bodiless forms. Jnana Swarupam is Param, which is a totally free, formless state of mind. This is called Nirguna Brahman. Aparam is the state of Lord of Wisdom who shines with creations and Panja Krityas, that is, five duties. This is known as Saguna Brahman. The mantra form of Brahman is called its gross form. The subtle form of Brahman is only in the form of love, with unchanging Atma Dhyana, and is established only in thought. Know this. Oh, Muruga, if one does not realize that self consciousness, what is the use of saying something in endless ways? Say it yourself. To say so is a tact of speech worthy of wonder. Not only that, you know that they are also the cause of confusion of the intellect. Morality, duty, virtue, character, good deeds, etc. are all qualities called dharma, which reside in the soul. In order to achieve that which the living person thinks to create, he thinks and thinks with a single mind and achieves the object that he has thought of. There is no doubt about it. It was told to you by me that the science of the soul, as told in the Vedanta text, was like this. The essence of all the Sastra things gathered together and rolled up. May you always live as a powerful master of Atma meditation, realizing that everything is Atman in any way. In soul meditation, there is no such thing as worshipping deity idols, sacred Veda dhyana, yajnas prescribed by the Vedas in the fire, and various dakshinas to be added while performing those yajnas, etc. That form is pure and all pervasive and stable. Let yourself depend on such spiritual science. For the Jivan, that is soul, which is drowning in the ocean of samsara, which is the repeated birth and death of the world, and which is wandering in search of a suitable refuge to recover from it. There is no other object than the knowledge of the science of the soul that can provide protection to it. Know this. Let he who attained Parasuruba himself, and whoever knows that Paramatma with certainty, the truth of the Suruba as it is, realize he attains all kinds of different experiences, that is, avasthas, and remains united. You realize that he, without any effort, will infallibly attain the abode of liberation, moksha. There is no better attainable gain than the realization of the soul and nothing else. So you always worship that soul. Let you realize that the soul, like the one in the body, is the same supreme being, Paramatman, all pervading and inexhaustible. The soul is neither prana, which is the breath, nor apana, nor the mind above them, nor any of the instrumental organs, which are the senses. It is the all knowing consciousness alone, the eternal absolute. You always attain that spiritual thought, which is the object. As the source of all luminaries, they give light to all. That vastness Paramatman is formless. That object is not in a private space inside or outside of you, does not apply to any particular place, far away or very near. That shining bliss is all pervading and inexhaustible. May you always fix your thought on it. May you meditate more and more without interruption on the self shining self, which is passive allegedly across, up and down, in and out, everywhere, always, without deleting. Trivially, it will be stable, magically, everywhere. Atma Swarupam is not witchcraft. It is not magic. It is non-witchcraft and is also witchcraft. This Atman himself pervades all places without the slightest partiality in any place and equally manifest everywhere. Always think of that great soul, the spotless and characterless perfect soul is devoid of arrogance, which is the sin of Degatma, that is the soul of the body, has no other source and is independent of caste and other known forms. May you meditate on that soul without interruption for ever and ever, with no foreign dependence to sustain itself, without a support, boundless of attachment to hold on to, boundless to say anything in its own price, boundless of pure nature, eternal, unknowable by oaths, and eternally stable, and shall always meditate on that Atma with joy. Having completely removed all the negativity of actions, leaving all desires alone, standing aloof from the crowd of the diverse ideals, then realize that you should always sit within yourself and meditate on yourself in your own place, which cannot be separated from yourself. Without ceasing to destroy the country he lives in, the caste of his birth, the most distinguished clan in the world, the ashram, etc., etc. Let the wise person, without ceasing, daily meditate on his own nature. This is the highest mantra suitable for chanting meditation on his nature. Meditating like this is the highest form of worship and dedication to the deity idols, which is also an angel to be worshipped. This is what is called dhyana. This is the greatest penance among penances. So, let all thoughts be removed and do the meditation of one's own self with firmness and courage. He who is the soul is the one who has no thought. You will make the mind, which is the united with thoughts, have little room for thinking. You will make the mind, which is always thinking about something without rest, fixed in the soul, and you will not think about anything else with the mind at all. Atman is a thing that cannot be thought by the mind, but it is not unthinkable. It is the thinking will, but that is also the will. That Paravastu is equally spread everywhere without any sides being more or less. May you always meditate on that supreme soul without interruption, that Atma which cannot be conceived by the mind. You always meditate on. You will experience the bliss that is abundant and full and attainable in the Nishkala soul, which frees the mind from the attachment to things and stabilizes it in a state of non attachment, transcending all philosophies. That object, without any distinction, which cannot be conceived by the mind, which cannot be counted, which has no substance through itself, which cannot be said to itself as, as a religion, and which cannot be described by any example, shines most sublimely. That which shines like that is said to be supreme above all. You will immerse yourself in that blissful form. You will destroy all attachment, which is the small smell of things, and destroy all the thoughts that flourish in the mind whenever the mind is finds the mindless state of meditation. Then the subject which shines in such a form is said to be Paramananda. The scriptures say that all directions, all places, and all times are favorable for Atma Yoga. You know that due to the sufferings caused by caste, clan, ashram, etc., which are attained by the living beings, the sufferings do not come close to their form of wisdom. Cows are of many colors, but the milk of those different colored cows is all of the same white color. In the same way, all the living beings who are symbolic of different characteristics and forms are like cows of different colors. The wise will see that the one form of wisdom within those beings is like the same color of the milk. This wise doctrine mentioned here is a must want to know this. Since the Brahman is omnipresent, pervades in all things, shines and shines with a face everywhere, fix your mind on that Brahman for ever and ever, and do not even think about the evils of the world and the directions. In this world, the Jivan Muktas, who has attained a realization while living, who has attained the form of that Paramatma, has no mark or sign. There are no ashrams or varnashrams. There is no ritual for him. For that successful Dhiran, Mukta Purusha, having done something, there is no benefit from that thing. There is nothing that he has to do. The Vedic law does not require him to do this. You know this. Whether the yogi is walking, that is, wandering about the world in one place, or sleeping like everyone else, surrounded by loved ones, always awake at the time of eating food, at the time of drinking water for thirst, at the time of strong wills, bitter cold, cruel heat, and in any condition, yogi will be invulnerable in any situation and at any time. Yogi will be invulnerable in any situation and at any time. When he is afflicted by fear, severe poverty, diseases that afflict the body, fever that burns like heat, indigestion caused by indigestion in the bowels, etc. He will be an Anma Nishtan, that is, immersed in his Atma, shining with supreme peace and without affliction, always contented in soul. No matter that he sees, he does not hesitate or get confused. Even if I go from one place to another, which is the wandering of the body, and come from there, I am not the one who goes and comes. Which comes and goes is the Dega, that is the body, and not me, who is the soul. There is no way for me to go or come from the country. I do not belong to the matter of illusion that creates the universe. Being unsteady and ever changing, I am not the one of the elements of creation who was born and is not the one who will be born again. All karmas are the work of illusion, which is Prakriti. The origin of those darkness is called Prakriti. But I am innocent and clean without guilt. A learned Atmanist knows that he is free from any action and meditates naturally. That philosopher who is self realized has no attachment to the things of illusion. That man was freed from the bond of Purusha Shreshtan and got the name of Muktan. He who is a Muktan will never be affected by the doshas, that is, the evil effects, which are said to be matters of delusion. Just as a lamp, by its effulgence, dispels the image of dense darkness and shines precisely, so the Atma Jyoti, the light of the soul, embodiment of pure light, arises from the inexplicable ignorance, destroys the enveloping darkness that covers everything, and burns and shines by itself. Just as the lamp, which has burned out all the ghee in the lamp, rests peacefully in its brightness and heat, so the yogi who meditates unceasingly on the true substance of the soul will be calmed down in Chitakasha, which is the Swarupa Sthiti, that is, the state of soul, and will also rest in the unity. There is no higher object or state worth attaining than the Atman. This is the truth. When a jug is carried from one place to another, the space inside the jug may seem to our knowledge to go with the jug, but in reality, it is the jug alone that is being carried. The sky does not go. Similarly, even though the soul appears to be in the body, it is stable and motionless like the sky. When the picture is broken, immediately the akasha, that is air in the pot, will become one with the mahakasha, that is outer air. Similarly, when this physical body dies, the soul which appeared in the body immediately merges with the Supreme Soul. In this way, Parameshvara, who is the Lord of creation and Pancha Krityas, that is five actions, the all pervading Sarvajna, that is omniscient, at that time, as stated in this book, said and blessed with his own authority and right that he who conquers the mind and frees himself from all the bonds attains the abode of moksha, becomes one who is eternally pervaded and saturated with the eternal consciousness of enlightenment, leaving everything that is mentioned in the Agama Shastras, such as action, right, etc. You will settle down in the holy Atma Yoga Samadhi, and you will thoroughly examine and realize that there is nothing else worth attaining beyond this state of Samadhi. You will get rid of all the differences in the mind. The Atma Yogi, thus meditating on the Jnana Swarupam ceaselessly for a long time, will always attain and conform to his natural state of form without the least Dehatma Bhavam, that is, feeling of physical body. That pure jnani is a dharmiya who has the dharmas of the supreme form and its characteristics as his dharmas. He will be a muktan, that is, liberated, whose inner space is all pervading and shining. He is the one who roams freely everywhere without hindrance. That yogi attains all perceived omniscience, undiminished perfect bliss, omnipotent, free, ever inexhaustible strength, etc., and shines forever. He, the diseaseless soul, freed from the sinful attachment, attains holy, pure body and becomes one with Shiva. To that Atma Yogi, praying the holy name and worshipping the Ishta Devata Murti will remove sin and give virtue. Gangadi Tirtha baths, Homati works performed in Agni and any other sadhana are not required. Dharma that brings good, adharma that brings harm. Their fruits, pinda sirarthis that give to the ancestors of the clan Darpanadi waterworks. He does not need anything. Let me tell you more. There are no precepts or precepts to be observed by the Atma Yogi. There are no fasts like that. There are no karmic evolutions. There is no nivritti karmas of any kind. It does not have to evolve from anything. You know that he has no celibate fast, abandoning, falling into fire, falling into rivers such as Ganges, and falling from mountain tops. You will enjoy the nectar of pure Shiva knowledge, stand in the form of Shiva, become eternally undefiled as Saswata, freed from creational dharmas, and wander wherever you want. Oh Muruga, I swear to you, now 3 times, swear, swear, swear. There is nothing better and more noble than this which I have taught you. He who is pure without impurity, who has no hidden intellect, who has a wise intellect, who has a pure heart, know that all the objects that can be seen in the world are the holy form of Shiva. Know that the Shiva yogi, meditating on the unblemished pure Shiva, will know the form of Shiva by virtue of pure and precise inner experience.